Lunch break at work. Ella is at work and lunch break is coming soon. The morning has been calm but busy. She answered messages, checked one report, and wrote notes in her notebook. Now she looks at the clock on her desk. It is almost lunchtime. The light from the window is bright, and the office feels a little quieter than before. Ella likes this part of the day. Lunch break is not only about food for her. It is also a small pause in the middle of work. It gives her time to stand up, breathe, and let her mind rest for a few minutes. She closes her notebook and puts her pen next to the keyboard. Then, she looks around the office. One coworker is still typing on a computer. Another person is putting papers into a bag. A woman near the window drinks water from a bottle and smiles at Ella. "Are you ready for lunch?" the woman asks. "Yes," Ella says. "I need a little break." The woman laughs softly. "Me too," she says. Ella stands up from her chair and stretches her shoulders. She sits a lot in the morning, so it feels good to move a little. She takes her phone, her wallet, and a small lunchbox from the desk. Then, she puts them into her bag. Today she has two choices. Some days she eats in the office kitchen. Other days she goes outside and finds a quiet place. The weather is nice today, so she decides to go out. Before she leaves, she walks to the small kitchen near the end of the hall. She wants to fill her water bottle. The kitchen is simple but bright. There is a sink, a table, a few chairs, a fridge, and a shelf with cups and plates. A man from another team is making tea there. "Hi, Ella," he says. "Hi," she answers. She fills the bottle with water and puts it back into her bag. The man points to the window. "It is a good day outside," he says. Ella looks out. The sky is clear, and the trees move softly in the wind. "Yes," she says. "I think I will eat outside today." Then, she leaves the kitchen and walks back through the office. She says goodbye to one coworker and takes the stairs down to the street. Outside, the city feels different from the morning. There are more people now. Cars move along the road, buses stop at the corner, and many workers walk quickly with bags, coffee cups, or lunch boxes in their hands. Even so, Ella does not hurry. Lunch break is short, but she wants it to feel calm. Near the office building, there is a small park with a few benches and trees. Ella likes that place because it is close, quiet, and simple. She can sit there, eat slowly, and watch the city without feeling stuck inside. On the way to the park, she passes a cafe. A few people stand near the door and read the menu. Inside, she can see cakes, sandwiches, and cups on a shelf behind the counter. The smell of coffee comes out each time the door opens. For a moment, Ella thinks about going in. A warm cup of coffee and a sandwich sound nice. But she already has food in her lunchbox, so she keeps walking. Soon she reaches the park. The gate is open and the path inside is clean. A bench near one tree is empty, so she sits there and puts her bag next to her. For a few seconds, she does nothing. She only looks at the sky, the grass, and the road beyond the fence. This quiet pause matters to her. Then, she opens the lunch box. Inside, she has a sandwich, a small apple, and a few biscuits. It is a simple lunch, but she likes simple food in the middle of the day. She takes the sandwich first and eats slowly. She does not look at her phone yet. She wants to give her eyes a little rest from the screen. Around her, other people are also on lunch break. One man sits on a bench across the path and reads a page from a book. Two women stand near a tree and talk in low voices. A young worker walks by with a coffee cup and a paper bag from the bakery. The park is not silent, but it feels softer than the office and the street. Birds move in the trees. The wind touches the leaves. Far away, she can hear a bus near the station and the sound of people crossing the road. Everything feels alive, but nothing feels too heavy. After a few minutes, Ella takes out her phone and checks one message. Then, she puts the phone away again. She does not want to spend the whole break looking at a screen. She wants to look at real things for a little while. The trees, the grass, the people, the light, and the sky. She finishes the sandwich and drinks some water. Then, she eats the apple. The air is still cool, and the shade from the tree keeps the bench comfortable. Ella sits back and lets the small break do its work. Sometimes lunch break is the best part of a workday for her. Not because work is bad, but because the break creates space. It gives the morning a soft ending and the afternoon a softer beginning. Without that small pause, the whole day feels too close together. She opens her notebook for 1 minute and writes 3 small words. Park bench break. She smiles when she sees them on the page. They are easy words, but they fit the moment exactly. Then, she closes the notebook and returns it to her bag. On the next bench, a woman opens a lunchbox too. She has rice, salad, and a bottle of juice. She looks at Ella and smiles politely. "Nice day for lunch outside," she says. "Yes," Ella answers. "It feels very calm here. Much better than the office," the woman says with a laugh. Ella laughs too. "I think so." They do not talk again after that, but the small exchange feels pleasant. It is one more gentle part of the break. When Ella checks the time again, she sees that lunch break is almost over. She is not sad about that. She only wants to return with a clearer mind than before. She puts the empty lunchbox back into her bag, takes one last drink of water, and stands up. Before she leaves the park, she looks around once more. The bench, the path, the trees, and the people all look simple and ordinary. But sometimes ordinary things help the most. A quiet bench, a sandwich, a few minutes of fresh air, and one calm page in a notebook can change the whole feeling of a day. Ella walks back toward the office. The street is still active, but now she feels steadier inside. She passes the cafe again. The line is longer now, and the smell of coffee is stronger. A bus stops at the corner, and more people step onto the road at the crosswalk. She waits for the light to change and crosses the street with a small group of workers. Then, she enters the office building and takes the stairs up again. Inside, the hall feels cooler after the sun outside. The office kitchen is empty now. The cups are on the shelf, the table is clean, and the room is quiet. Ella likes seeing that quiet space before she returns to work. Back at her desk, she sits down and opens her notebook again. The computer screen is waiting. Her pen is still beside the keyboard. Everything is exactly where she left it. But she feels different. She feels calmer. That is what a good lunch break does for her. It is not only a pause for food. It is a pause for the mind. It gives her one small piece of the day that belongs only to her. Ella opens the next page of her notes, takes one slow breath, and begins the afternoon.